Well, let's dive into day 6 of this Get Set Up Coaching 30-day challenge, even though there was a 5 or 7-day break in between day 5 and day 6. Hey, everybody, I'm Crystal. And I am jumping on to do today's As a Life update. I've been really attempting to start these videos out and have a theme and be Googleable, but today's just going to be like me sharing all the different things that are changing and happening in my life and in my world to just update you and kind of loop you in. As of the recording of this video, I am in Canada, and that changed. Andres and I came from Colombia. I don't even know when, like July of last year. And we were going to be living in the States. And that was the plan. We kind of got settled, got our feet under us, and then got his paperwork in progress. And then through a series of events, learned that as a Canadian, he can indeed be in the US, but he can only be in the US for 6 months at a time. And so he took a trip and couldn't actually get back in to the United States. And so for a full 24 hours, I just had a lot of intensity. He had a lot of intensity. We were on two sides of the border. Our plans for the next year were like thrown up into the air as we're facing this thing where he can't get back into the country where we were planning on living. I had gotten a car loan. I still have that car loan, brand new car. And so just through asking questions and going, what do we want to choose here? Do we want to spend the next 6 months apart? Do we want to do something else? He said, would you consider coming up here to Canada? And I don't know if a lot of you know this, but I am like this close to becoming a Canadian citizen. I've applied for my citizenship. I'm like this close to taking the oath. I have things up here that need taking care of. And so when he suggested it, it was really light. And I said yes. And so I packed up our stuff in the States last week and the week before, put a lot of it into storage and packed my car, and I drove up to Canada. That all happened last Tuesday and Wednesday. And I always have an enhanced point of view about how long I think it's going to take me to settle into a new place, but it always takes me at least a week. So today's the first day where I felt like I've had any sort of ability to put anything into words for you. So here I am. That's sort of the personal side to my life. The interesting part about the personal side and where I'll be living is that I do own an American asset. I have a car and I've got a loan on it. So until I pay that off, that car belongs to the US. And so that car is technically only allowed in Canada for 6 months at a time. So as of this 10 seconds, I will be staying up here for 6 months, and then I'll be heading down to the States for 6 months and or other places around the world, just depending on what I choose. So that's sort of the state of the union when it comes to like where I'm staying and where I'm living. We're doing Airbnb right now. As you can see, I've made the living room into a nice little video studio. We are going to be here for a month, and then we've got another one for the next 6 months or whatever, 5 months after that. So that's that. Body update. Since all of you need to know this, I am going through a very intense period of hot flashes. So it's actually one is starting right now. They change all the time. This is that weird perimenopausal time of life where your body's not regulating temperature in the way that it used to. So like right now, I'm on fire inside. My face is going to break out in a sweat. But it was different. Like I went through a period of 3 or 4 months where estrogen, I think, was resurging through my body and everything was easier. So the changes happening in my body are definitely more intense right now. And they seem to go through these waves. So that is the update on body stuff. Yeah, perimenopause is so fun. Not really. Yeah. So I don't think I can speak enough about how much this is having an effect on what I'm choosing these days. And I'm going to get into a little bit more about what I'm starting to choose professionally. But I think it would be silly to say that the physical changes aren't having a role or playing a part in what's changing in my life and in the business. It's, it's a really, really different phase of life. Obviously, I've never gone through it before in this lifetime. It's a very, my experience has been it's very intense. It's also, your body alters, right? Your brain alters. Things are different than they were before. And somewhere in my world, somewhere, I just kind of thought that I would always have that locomotive, driving, sort of testosterone fueled, I know I'm a girl, but still, thing that I had for years, where I just would just barrel forward like a locomotive filled with coal on fire. I had that energy in my body for a really, really long time. And the last 3 years have just been so altering in so many different ways, the with access consciousness stuff, like the big 5 clearing out all the need of a reactive reality. Like, I don't need to react anymore, I can just choose. That was more massive than I know how to talk about. Simultaneous to the physical changes, simultaneous to the country changes, I mean, it all plays together. And it's taken me some time to, like, let that be okay, if I'm honest. I really spent so much of my life and my professional life, I guess, priding myself on this locomotive nature. And and that really does, if you look at physically, it really does go hand in hand physically with what was happening with my hormones. I mean, when I look back on just even my sex drive and all that stuff, that was definitely all in there with that. Like, I just could, like, take over the world, right? Like, lubrication running through all the systems. And so perimenopause is this interesting time where your body's physically changing, and it can feel like a death on so many levels. Like, all your lubrication changes, and your energy levels change, and your body's readjusting and reshifting to this next phase of your life. So it's really bizarre. Um, and so, having never been there before, and having always in the past had this incredible well of energy to draw from, and not having it in the same way, I've had to just change everything. And it's so even the need for changing myself has completely left. And I am in a space now where I don't wanna change anything else about me for the rest of my life. I wanna spend the next 50 years of my life being me, and enjoying me, and creating as me. And I just don't have it at all in my world that anything about me needs to change. And that's really different. And a lot of what drove me into and through the access consciousness material was this need to change. Anybody relate to that? Need to change where I was functioning from with money, need to change where I was functioning from with relationships. And so with that need gone, there's just choice. So I've been devouring books and resources and podcasts. If you go into the description of this video, there's a link to Infinite Being School, which is an incredible introduction to the tools of access. There's a link to the Awareness Challenge, which is an incredible 30-day access consciousness challenge. There's also a link to a list of books that I've been like, "Arr, arr, arr." um, and let me tell you that this is the first time in probably the last 10 years that I've gone outside of the access consciousness materials. So it's kind of been a weird moment, because I don't have any hard feelings about anybody. This is not based on hard feelings. This is not based on anything that's happened outside of me. It's just based on what's changing inside of me. And what I've been searching for is more nurturing. And in looking at what's changing in my body and what I'm searching for, I can see the correlation. I can see where the inner changes in me are driving me to the choices that I'm making. So it's a really just interesting time to be alive. Okay, it's just interesting. Um, So I've been really reading about, as you guys have heard, 10xing is easier than 2xing. I've been looking at specializing rather than generalizing. I have been reading a lot of things that are helping me articulate my uniqueness, my voice, my not to find it, I am it, but to be able to articulate it even to myself, to be able to identify it and function from it and create from it. I've been, really sitting with what the business wants to be now. And I'm finally I can announce that I'm finally to some clarity around that, and actually it's things are starting to take shape. And it would be interesting to try to track like where this all started, and you know how it goes. Like you start to change one thing and then you got to change these things, and then that leads to all this other transformation. That's how that goes. I no longer need to be on a constant healing or transformation journey. I only need to be in alignment with my higher self and allow myself to be inspired. Next action with whatever that looks like. This is so much more of a loving energy versus a critical one. Yeah, cool. And I think for me, it was being that for me. I have been a hard driver of myself for as long as I can remember. And I just I do have that, like, ambition that is very rare. I don't see it a lot of places, but I'm no longer hard driving myself to need to be anything but what I am. Now the hard drive, that drive, that ambition is going towards what does it take to have what I am, what this possibility is, what I speak to out in the world in a bigger way so that more whoever wants to participate can. And And so the next steps are forming. They are forming. There's going to be, I will just stay connected. The easiest way to stay connected to all the change and all the idiosyncrasies of this journey is to get on the email list, which is why I left you some links. And what I'm looking at, there's what's next. I am definitely, I guess I'll wrap with this, choosing to specialize in working with emerging and existing entrepreneurs because I love it. Because my point of view is that you and who you are, it should be in the world. That's my point of view. And I'm going to champion my point of view. And I want to empower you and inspire you and create with you and mentor you and coach you and facilitate you if that's what you choose. So that is definitely the pivot that we're making. And the show will change a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's going to be me. And I'm excited about what's emerging and where we're going. And I want you to know that you can be excited too if you want to. And also to just encourage you in your own journey, in your own exploration of what this is for you. I recognize that where I'm going isn't going to resonate with everyone and that I'm okay with that. But I'm really grateful that, as you change, as I change, the people that need what we're choosing show up. So that's my update for now. I'm going to show up again tomorrow. I'm just going to keep showing up daily now that I kind of got my feet under me and keep going with stuff that is hopefully a gigantic gift for you. If you have questions about anything, please ask me in the comments. I'll respond to them. And if you know this would be a gift to somebody, share it with them. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next conversation. Thanks for watching.